Xander Matthews stared at the last $6 in his wallet as his 5-year-old daughter, Lily, pressed her face against the glass display of 32 ice cream flavors. The air conditioning in Sweet Dreams ice cream shop was a blessed relief from the sweltering July heat, but it couldn't cool the burn of anxiety that had become his constant companion. "Can I get the triple scoop, Daddy?" Lily asked, her hazel eyes wide with hope beneath her messy brown ponytail. Xander knelt down beside her, adjusting the worn baseball cap that covered his own dark hair. "How about we share a double scoop today, Pumpkin? Daddy's a little short on cash this week." "Because you gave your lunch money to Mr. Wilson?" she asked innocently. Xander smiled, touched by his daughter's attentiveness. He had indeed given their elderly neighbor some grocery money yesterday when he'd found the man counting pennies for bread. "That's right, sweetheart, and we still have plenty for a special treat together." "Okay." Lily bounced on her toes, seemingly unbothered by the downgrade in ice cream expectations. "Can we get chocolate and strawberry?" "Anything you want," he promised, standing up and taking her small hand in his calloused one. As they approached the counter, Xander's attention was caught by a woman sitting alone at a small table near the window. She was typing rapidly on a sleek laptop, a barely touched dish of mint chocolate chip melting beside her. Her chestnut hair was pulled back in an elegant twist, and even in the casual setting of an ice cream shop, she exuded a polished confidence in her simple white blouse and tailored navy slacks. "Can I help you?" The teenage server's voice snapped Xander back to attention. "Yes, sorry." "We'll take a double scoop cup chocolate and strawberry." As the server prepared their order, Lily tugged at his jeans. "Daddy, why is that lady working at the ice cream shop? Ice cream is for fun, not computers." The woman looked up at that moment, and Xander felt heat rise to his face as her eyes a striking amber met his. To his surprise, she smiled. "Your daughter makes an excellent point," she said, her voice warm and rich. "Ice cream should definitely be for fun." "Sorry about that," Xander said, embarrassed. "Kids and their observations." "No apology needed," she replied, closing her laptop. "I'm definitely guilty as charged. Sophia Feynman," she added, extending her hand. "Xander Matthews," he replied, shaking it briefly. Her grip was firm, her skin soft against his work-roughened palm. "And this is my daughter, Lily." "Hi, Lily," Sophia said, leaning down slightly. "What's your favorite ice cream flavor?" "Strawberry," Lily declared without hesitation. "But today I'm sharing with Daddy." Something flickered across Sophia's face, a brief shadow of emotion Xander couldn't quite identify. Before he could ponder it, the server called out their order. "That'll be $5.50, the teenager said, sliding the cup across the counter. Xander handed over his last $6, pocketing the 2/4 of change with care. He guided Lily to a table, acutely aware of the woman Sophia watching them with interest. "Would you mind if I joined you?" she asked suddenly, gathering her things. "I could use a break from these spreadsheets, and you two seem like much better company." Xander hesitated. Under normal circumstances, he might have welcomed the attention of a beautiful woman, but these weren't normal circumstances. He was a single dad working 2 jobs, behind on rent, with exactly 50 cents to his name until payday. The last thing he needed was to be reminded of how far removed his life was from someone who could afford to ignore perfectly good ice cream while working on a top-of-the-line computer. But Lily had already enthusiastically nodded. "You can sit with us. Daddy says sharing makes ice cream taste better." "Does he now?" Sophia smiled, glancing at Xander with a raised eyebrow. "That's a very wise philosophy." Xander shrugged, surrendering to his daughter's social nature. "Who am I to argue with ice cream wisdom? Please join us." Sophia settled into the chair across from them, pushing her melting dish aside. "So, Lily, what grade are you in?" "I'm starting kindergarten in September," Lily announced proudly, ice cream already smeared on her chin. "Daddy's helping me practice my letters. I can write my whole name now." "That's impressive," Sophia said, her interest appearing genuine. "I bet your daddy's a great teacher." "He's the best daddy ever," Lily declared with absolute certainty. "He works at the hardware store and fixes people's houses and reads me 3 stories every night, even when he's super tired." Xander felt a flush of both pride and embarrassment. "Lily's my best cheerleader," he said, gently wiping her chin with a napkin. "Contractor?" Sophia asked. "Handyman," Xander corrected. "I do repairs and small renovations when I can get the work. The hardware store is my steady gig, but it's only part-time." Sophia nodded thoughtfully. "Jack of all trades, that's valuable." There was something refreshingly direct about her. She didn't offer empty sympathies or that pitying look he'd grown to hate. Instead, she seemed genuinely interested as she asked, "What kind of renovations do you prefer working on?" For the next 15 minutes, Xander found himself talking about his passion for woodworking and restoration, particularly of historic homes. Sophia asked insightful questions that revealed a surprising knowledge of architecture and construction. Lily, having finished her share of ice cream, had pulled out a small coloring book and crayons from Xander's backpack and was contentedly occupied. "I should be getting her home," Xander said finally, noticing the time. "It's been nice talking with you, Sophia." "Likewise," she replied, then seemed to make a sudden decision. "Actually, I have a proposition for you. I recently purchased a Victorian house that needs significant restoration. The contractor I hired has been all wrong more interested in gutting the historical elements than preserving them. Would you be interested in taking a look? I'd pay for your consultation time, of course." Xander blinked, caught off guard. "I'm not really a historical preservation specialist, but you understand the value of what's there," she interrupted. "That already puts you ahead of the current team." The prospect of paid work he might actually enjoy was tempting, but Xander was wary. "I don't have formal training in historical restoration, but you have passion and respect for it," Sophia countered. "Sometimes that's more valuable than credentials." She pulled out a business card and handed it to him. "Think about it. Call me if you're interested." Xander accepted the card, glancing down at it. His eyes widened slightly as he read, "Sophia Feynman, CEO Feynman Urban Restoration Group, he began. "Someone who appreciates good craftsmanship," she finished smoothly, standing up. "It was lovely meeting you both. Bye, Lily." "Bye, ice cream lady," Lily waved enthusiastically. As Sophia walked out the door, Xander stared at the business card in his hand, wondering what exactly had just happened. The walk home to their small apartment took 20 minutes, with Lily chattering the entire way about the pretty ice cream lady and how nice she was. Xander listened with half an ear, his mind on the unexpected turn of events. Sophia Feynman wasn't just any businesswoman. A quick search on his phone revealed she ran one of the most respected urban development companies in the region, known for revitalizing historic neighborhoods while maintaining their character. Their apartment building was a far cry from the elegant structures Sophia's company restored. The 3-story walk-up had seen better days, with peeling paint and a perpetually broken elevator. Inside their 1-bedroom unit, Lily immediately ran to her corner of the living room where her toy box and small bookshelf created a makeshift bedroom behind a colorful curtain Xander had installed. While Lily played, Xander sat at their small kitchen table, staring at Sophia's business card. The sensible part of him said this was likely just a professional courtesy, perhaps even charity. But another part, the part that had been slowly dying under the weight of endless bills and diminishing opportunities, sparked with hope. He pulled out his phone and dialed the number before he could talk himself out of it. "Feynman speaking," came the crisp reply after just one ring. Hi, this is Xander, from the ice cream shop." "Xander," Sophia's voice immediately warmed. "I'm glad you called. Have you considered my offer?" "I'd like to at least see the property," he said cautiously. "But I should be upfront. I have Lily most evenings and weekends. My work schedule is complicated." "I understand completely," Sophia replied, How about tomorrow? I could meet you at the property during your lunch break if that works. They arranged to meet at noon the following day. After hanging up, Xander found himself smiling the first genuine smile he'd managed in weeks. The Victorian house was located in Oakwood, one of the oldest neighborhoods in the city. As Xander approached on his lunch break, he whistled low under his breath. The three-story structure with its ornate gingerbread trim and wraparound porch had clearly been magnificent once, but now sagged with neglect. Scaffolding surrounded one side, with construction materials scattered haphazardly across the yard. Sophia was waiting on the porch, dressed in dark jeans and a simple button-down shirt. Her hair pulled back in a ponytail, a striking contrast to her polished appearance the day before. "Not what you expected from a CEO?" she asked, catching his surprised expression. "Just different," he admitted, "but refreshing." She laughed. "I'm hands-on with my restoration projects. Can't exactly crawl through 100-year-old attics in Laubaudens." The next 45 minutes flew by as she showed him through the house, pointing out original details she hoped to preserve and areas that needed significant repair. Xander found himself increasingly excited as he examined the craftsmanship hidden beneath years of questionable renovations. "This staircase is extraordinary," he said, running his hand along the carved banister. "And these pocket doors, they're intact. Someone just painted over them. Can they be restored?" Sophia asked, watching him intently. "Definitely. It's labor-intensive, but worth it." He continued through the house, pointing out features and suggesting approaches, barely noticing Sophia's thoughtful observation of his enthusiasm. By the time they reached the third floor, Xander was fully engaged, sketching ideas on a notepad Sophia had provided. It wasn't until his phone alarm buzzed that he realized his lunch hour had ended 15 minutes ago. "I have to get back to the store," he said apologetically. "I'm sorry, I got carried away." "Don't apologize," Sophia said. "Your passion is exactly what this house needs." She hesitated, then added, "What would you think about taking on some of the restoration work? We could start with the staircase and built-ins, see how it goes. I'd pay you fairly, of course, and you could set your own hours around your other commitments." Xander stared at her, certain he'd misheard. "You're offering me a job? You barely know me." "I know enough," she replied firmly. "You understand what this place deserves, and you need flexible work that pays better than what you're getting now." When he looked startled, she added, "I'm good at reading between the lines, Xander, and I'm a businesswoman. I make quick decisions when I see value." "I can't just quit my jobs," he said cautiously. "I have responsibilities." "Keep the hardware store job for now if you need to," she suggested. "But I can guarantee this will pay better than your handyman gigs. Think about it." She extended her hand. "No pressure. You know how to reach me." As they shook hands, Xander felt something shift between them, a current of connection that went beyond professional interest. Sophia must have felt it too, because she held his gaze a moment longer than necessary before looking away. "I should let you get back to work," she said, her voice slightly less composed than before. That evening, after putting Lily to bed, Xander called his friend Marcus, who worked in construction. "You're saying a CEO of an urban development company just happened to meet you in an ice cream shop and offered you restoration work?" Marcus asked skeptically. "That sounds like the setup for either a Hallmark movie or a scam." "I looked her up. She's legitimate," Xander insisted. "And you should see this house, Marcus. It's exactly the kind of project I've always wanted." "Just be careful, man," his friend warned. "Sounds too good to be true." But the next morning, Xander called Sophia and accepted the job. They agreed he would start the following Monday, working 3 days a week on the restoration. The pay was more than double what he earned from his irregular handyman jobs. The first week went smoothly. Xander worked at the hardware store in the mornings and spent afternoons at the Victorian, carefully stripping decades of paint from the intricate woodwork. Sophia stopped by each day, ostensibly to check on progress, but their conversations quickly extended beyond the restoration project. He learned she had built her company from scratch after walking away from a corporate law career that had left her unfulfilled. She learned about his journey as a single father after Lily's mother had decided parenthood wasn't for her and left when Lily was just 6 months old. "That must have been terrifying," Sophia said as they sat on the porch one evening, sharing the sandwiches she'd brought. "Taking on a baby all alone." "Terrifying doesn't begin to cover it," Xander admitted. "But also the best thing that ever happened to me. Lily saved me as much as I saved her." "How so?" Sophia asked, genuinely curious. Xander hesitated, then decided on honesty. "I was drifting before her, working construction jobs, partying too much on weekends. When her mother left, it was like someone flipped a switch. Suddenly, there was this tiny person who needed me to get my act together." Sophia nodded thoughtfully. "Purpose is powerful." "What about you?" Xander asked. "Any kids in your life?" A shadow crossed her face. "No, my career has been my focus. The timing never seemed right." There was something in her voice, a note of regret perhaps that made Xander want to know more. But before he could pursue it, his phone rang. It was Mrs. Delgado, his elderly neighbor who watched Lily after kindergarten. "I'm so sorry to bother you, Xander," she said, "but Lily's running a fever and she's asking for you." "I'll be right there," he promised, jumping to his feet. "Sorry," he told Sophia. "Lily's sick. I need to go." "Of course," she said immediately. "Do you need anything?" "Medicine." I could run to the pharmacy. Her immediate offer to help touched him. "Thanks, but I should be okay. I'll let you know about tomorrow." Lily's fever lasted 3 days. Xander called in sick to both jobs, spending his days applying cool compresses to his daughter's forehead and coaxing liquids into her. By the 3rd day, his own exhaustion was palpable as he heated yet another can of chicken soup. A knock at the door surprised him. When he opened it, Sophia stood there holding a large paper bag. "I hope you don't mind," she said hesitantly. "You mentioned your apartment number once. I brought some supplies, children's fever reducer, popsicles, herbal tea, and real soup from the deli down the street." Xander was momentarily speechless. "You didn't have to do that." "I wanted to help," she said simply. "How is she?" "Better today, thankfully. The fever's down." He stepped back. "Would you like to come in?" "It's not much I'd like that," she interrupted, following him into the small apartment. Xander was acutely aware of the shabby furniture, the worn carpet, the single bedroom where Lily was currently napping. But Sophia didn't seem to notice any of it as she unpacked her offerings onto the tiny kitchen counter. "The soup needs to be heated," she explained, pulling out a large container. "It's my grandmother's chicken and rice recipe. The deli owner is an old friend." Lily emerged from the bedroom then, her hair tousled from sleep, her cheeks still flushed. "Ice cream lady," she exclaimed, her voice hoarse but excited. Sophia smiled warmly. "I heard you weren't feeling well. I brought popsicles. Would you like one?" Lily nodded eagerly, and for the next hour, the 3 of them sat in the living room while Lily consumed a grape popsicle and chattered about the movie she'd been watching. Sophia listened attentively, asking questions and laughing at Lily's 5-year-old logic. Xander, watching them interact, felt something tighten in his chest, a longing for something he hadn't allowed himself to want in a very long time. When Lily began to tire, Xander tucked her back into bed. Returning to the living room, he found Sophia washing the few dishes in his sink. "You don't need to do that," he protested. "I know," she replied, not stopping, "but you look like you haven't slept in days." "Comes with the dad territory," he said, leaning against the counter. "Thank you for coming, for the supplies, for everything." She turned to face him, her hands still soapy. "It's nothing, really." "It's not nothing," he insisted softly. "Not to me, not to Lily." Something flickered in her amber eyes, vulnerability, perhaps, or uncertainty. For a moment, Xander thought she might step closer, but instead she turned back to the dishes. "The Victorian's fine, by the way. Take all the time you need with Lily. The house has waited this long, it can wait a few more days." After she left, Xander sat at the kitchen table, contemplating the woman who had unexpectedly entered their lives. Sophia Feynman was unlike anyone he'd ever met, successful and confident, yet surprisingly down to earth, and the way she'd been with Lily. He pushed the thought away. Whatever he might be beginning to feel for Sophia, she was still his employer. And the gap between their worlds remained vast. Lily recovered fully by the weekend, and Xander returned to work on Monday. Over the next few weeks, a routine developed. He worked on the Victorian house Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, with Sophia often joining him in the afternoons. Their conversations flowed easily, covering everything from politics to favorite movies. She began bringing lunch for them to share, and he found himself looking forward to these impromptu meals almost as much as the restoration work itself. One Thursday, in late August, Xander was carefully reinstalling the restored pocket doors when Sophia arrived with their usual lunch. As they sat on the front porch, she seemed uncharacteristically distracted. "Everything okay?" he asked. She hesitated, then said, "I have a proposition for you, but I'm concerned about crossing a line." Xander set down his sandwich. "What kind of proposition?" "I've been so impressed with your work here," she began. "The attention to detail, the care you take with the original elements. I have another property, a smaller Victorian, that needs similar restoration. I'd like to offer you a full-time position with my company, heading up a new division focused on authentic restoration." Xander stared at her, stunned. "You want to hire me, full-time?" "With benefits," she added. "Health insurance, retirement plan, paid time off. And a salary that reflects your skills." She named a figure that was more than double what he currently made from both jobs combined. "Why?" he asked bluntly. "I'm not trained. I don't have credentials." "You have something better," Sophia replied. "Natural talent and genuine passion. I can teach you the business side, connect you with resources for historical preservation. The rest you already know instinctively." It was almost too much to process. A job that combined his love of woodworking with historical restoration. A salary that would let him provide Lily with security and opportunities he'd only dreamed of offering her. Health insurance. The ability to move to a better apartment, maybe even save for a house someday. "I don't know what to say," he admitted. "Say you'll think about it," Sophia suggested. "Talk to Lily. Consider what it would mean for both of you." "And what about?" Xander hesitated, unsure how to address the undercurrent that had been building between them. "This, us, whatever's happening here." Sophia met his gaze directly. "That's the line I'm concerned about crossing." "I like you, Xander, a lot, but I never want you to feel pressure to respond to my personal interest because of a professional opportunity." Her honesty was refreshing. "I appreciate that," he said, "but for the record, I like you too, a lot, and that has nothing to do with any job offer." A smile spread across her face, genuine and slightly relieved. "Then perhaps we should explore that separately from any professional decisions." "I'd like that," Xander agreed. That evening, he explained the job offer to Lily in simple terms she could understand. "It would mean Daddy could spend more time with you," he said, "and we could maybe find a bigger place to live with your own bedroom." "Would I still see my friends at school?" she asked, pragmatic even at 5. "Absolutely," he assured her. "We wouldn't move far." "And would we still see the ice cream lady?" This question was asked with particular emphasis. Xander smiled. "I think we definitely would. Would you like that?" Lily nodded enthusiastically. "She makes you smile the big smile, Daddy, not the tired smile." Out of the mouths of babes, Xander thought, amazed at his daughter's perception. The following Saturday, Xander accepted Sophia's job offer. That evening, he invited her to dinner at his apartment, the first time he'd cooked for anyone besides Lily in years. It was a simple meal: spaghetti with homemade sauce, garlic bread, and a salad. Lily had helped set the table, proudly placing the paper napkins she had folded fancy beside each plate. When Sophia arrived, She brought a small potted plant for their apartment and a children's book for Lily about a little girl who loved to build things. "I thought you might enjoy this," she told Lily, who immediately asked Xander to read it to her. The evening was comfortable and surprisingly natural, as if Sophia had always been part of their lives. After Lily went to bed, Xander and Sophia sat on the small balcony outside his apartment, sharing a bottle of wine she'd brought. "I've been meaning to ask," he said, gathering his courage. "That first day at the ice cream shop was approaching us just a coincidence," Sophia laughed softly. "Not entirely. I noticed you when you came in. You were so patient with Lily, and there was something in your expression when you counted out your money." She paused. "I've been there. Not exactly the same circumstances, but I know what it's like to watch every penny." Xander raised an eyebrow. My parents died when I was 19, she explained. "I put myself through college and law school on scholarships and 3 jobs. There were many days when ice cream would have been an unimaginable luxury." "I had no idea," he said softly. She shrugged. "It's not something I talk about often, but watching you with Lily, it reminded me of what's really important." She took a sip of wine. When she made that comment about ice cream being for fun, not computers, it was like a wake-up call. "I've been so focused on building my company that I've forgotten to build a life." "And now?" Xander asked, his heart beating faster. Sophia met his gaze directly. "Now I'm wondering if perhaps I was meant to go to that ice cream shop that day. If meeting you and Lily was the universe's way of showing me what I've been missing." Xander set down his wine glass and gently took her hand. "I'm glad you listened to the universe." Their first kiss was soft and hesitant, a careful exploration of new territory. When they broke apart, Sophia's eyes were bright with emotion. "I should go," she whispered, "but I'd like to see you again, not as your boss, but as whatever this is becoming." "I'd like that too," Xander replied. Over the next 3 months, their relationship evolved naturally. Sophia became a regular presence at their apartment for dinner, movie nights, and weekend outings. Xander thrived in his new position, quickly mastering the technical aspects of historical preservation while bringing his innate understanding of craftsmanship to each project. In November, with Sophia's encouragement, Xander put in an offer on a small craftsman bungalow in a family-friendly neighborhood near good schools. To his amazement, the offer was accepted. "We're getting a house, Lily," he told his daughter, swinging her around their small living room. "With a backyard for you to play in and your very own bedroom. Can we paint it purple?" she asked immediately. "We can definitely discuss purple," he laughed. The night after they closed on the house, Xander invited Sophia over for a celebratory dinner. After Lily was asleep, he led Sophia to the small balcony where their relationship had truly begun. "I have something to ask you," he said, suddenly nervous. Sophia looked at him curiously. "What is it?" "These past months have been the happiest of my life," he began. "You've brought so much joy to me and Lily, and I was wondering." He took a deep breath. "Would you consider moving into the new house with us, being a part of our family officially?" Sophia's eyes widened. "Are you asking me to move in with you?" "I'm asking for more than that," Xander said softly. "I'm asking if you can see a future where the 3 of us are a family, where Lily has a mother who chooses to stay, where you and I build something lasting together." Tears filled Sophia's eyes. "I've been afraid to hope for that," she admitted. "Afraid you might think it was too soon, or that I was overstepping with Lily." "Lily adores you," Xander said. "And I—" He paused, gathering his courage. "I love you, Sophia. I think I started falling for you that first day at the ice cream shop." "I love you too," she whispered, leaning in to kiss him. "And yes, I want to be part of your family. I want to help raise Lily. I want to build a life with both of you." 6 months later, on a perfect spring day, they moved into the renovated craftsman bungalow. Lily did indeed get a purple bedroom, though she and Sophia had compromised on a soft lavender rather than the vibrant grape she had initially requested. The backyard, once overgrown, now featured a swing set and a small vegetable garden they tended together. One evening, as they sat on the porch swing watching Lily chase fireflies across the lawn, Sophia took Xander's hand. "I have something to tell you," she said, a slight tremor in her voice. "What is it?" he asked, immediately concerned. She placed his hand on her stomach. "We're going to need to consider adding another bedroom, in about 7 months." Xander stared at her, joy blooming across his face. "You're pregnant. We're having a baby," Sophia nodded, tears of happiness in her eyes. "Are you happy?" In answer, Xander pulled her into his arms, kissing her deeply. "Beyond happy," he murmured against her lips. "I never imagined my life could be this full." "Daddy, why are you squishing Sophia?" Lily asked, running up to the porch with her hands cupped around a captured firefly. Xander lifted Lily onto his lap, his arm still around Sophia. "Because we have wonderful news, Pumpkin. How would you feel about being a big sister?" Lily's eyes grew round. "I'm getting a little brother or sister." "Yes," Sophia confirmed, "in the winter around Christmas time." "That's the best present ever," Lily declared, throwing her arms around both of them. The firefly escaped, rising into the twilight, its glow joining the others dancing across their yard. Later that night, after Lily was asleep, Xander and Sophia stood in the doorway of what would become the nursery. "If someone had told me a year ago that an impromptu trip for ice cream would change my entire life, I never would have believed them," Xander said, his arm around Sophia's waist. "I was supposed to be in meetings all that afternoon," Sophia confessed. "I canceled them on a whim because I felt stuck, restless, like something was missing." She looked up at him, her amber eyes soft with love. "I didn't know I was looking for you until I found you. And now?" He asked, drawing her closer. "Now I'm home," she said simply. "With you and Lily and this little one on the way, this is where I belong." As they stood there planning their future, Xander reflected on the journey that had brought them together, from counting pennies for ice cream to building a family, from struggling alone to sharing dreams. Sometimes, he thought, the universe knows exactly what we need, even when we don't. And sometimes, those needs come disguised as a chance encounter in an ice cream shop on a hot summer day.